DOTA2
Hello and welcome to a Hero Highlights edition of Let's Learn Some Dota 2 presented by DOTA2 I'm Jeff, the site's editor-in-chief, and today we're going to be talking about the Drow Ranger. The Drow Ranger is an agility ranged carry hero that a lot of people seem to think is a little overpowered these days. My agility is 45 plus 87 and we are 15 minutes into the game, and perhaps we're about to see why. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So I'm going to be casting a replay of me playing the Drow. Let's start by talking about what our teams end up looking like. We've got a Leshrac, an Enigma, myself as the Drow, a Spirit Breaker, and an Ancient Apparition. This is a pretty damn well-balanced team overall. Plenty of good disables. We've got support potential with the Ancient Apparition. And Leshrac, who basically functions as many different things, can be a disabler, can be a damage dealer, can be a carry late game, just gets ridiculous farm as the game goes on. So I'm going to end up laning with the Ancient Apparition, which is a really great combination because we've got a lot of slow on our side, and we're both very survivable as well. So let's talk about the Drow Ranger skills a little bit. We've got Frost Arrows, which are an auto-cast ability that basically is just a slowing attack that stacks up with levels. Then we've got a Silence. It's just an AoE silence on enemies. You cast it as a point target on the map, and duration goes up with level. Then you've got Precision Aura, which increases the range damage of everybody on your team, and creeps. I believe it used to be toggleable, but it might not be anymore. The percentage damage increases with level. And then we've got Marksmanship, the Drow's ultimate, which is basically just a huge agility bonus. It gives 20 at level 1, 30 at level 2, and 40 at level 3. Marksmanship is probably the biggest reason that people complain about the Drow and how badass she is. 40 agility at level 16 is basically just giving you like 2.75 Eagle Songs. So we're laning against a Bane Elemental and a Keeper of the Light, and as you just saw, they have some pretty nasty synergy. Nightmare can put one of us to sleep, and then the Cuddle can just line up the massive damage shot. So we got to be careful about that. Fortunately, we are such a strong combination that we've got a chance to avoid kind of the gimmicks that are being thrown at us. Another good thing to note is that if you're playing kind of intermediate level Dota, as I am here, people who go for gimmicky strategies like that will often forget basic necessities like going for last hits and farming, and they'll be more concerned about just trying to make their gimmick work. So if you're good enough to like avoid the ridiculousness of their gimmick, chances are you're going to win the lane because they're going to not have much going on outside of that. I'm not positive that these two guys know each other who we're up against, but there's a strong chance that they do and that they've done this before. So we'll jump forward in just a sec. So one of the great things about players with gimmicky strategies like these guys is that they often get in the habit of overextending as well. They're very confident, particularly if their strategy has worked in the past. So here is an example of Bane getting overconfident. We are able to really slow people down, as you can see here. His buddy is nowhere near him. He got a chakra off, I think, but that's not going to do him any good. And he has so far to go to get all the way back to his tower that our slow can just easily rip him apart. Skill-wise, I've been stacking Frost Arrow and Precision Aura, and our Ancient buddy has been grabbing
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Ice Vortex and Cold Feet. So we've been going definitely for, we're going to take advantage of you guys overextending builds here. So the first item I'm saving up for are my treads, which come in very handy because they just increase my farmability in kind of every way, shape, or form. My goal here primarily is to farm first and foremost in the lane. Second priority is to kill enemy, or I'm sorry, not to kill enemy heroes, to avoid dying. It's often a good idea to decide whether avoiding death or causing death is more important to you in your lane. If you're playing a late game hero like the Drow, avoiding death is almost always more important than getting kills. So remember that when you're tempted to dive a tower or something like that. If you're playing more of a mid-game spellcaster and you've got a mid-game spellcaster in your lane with you, sometimes then getting kills is more important than not dying. Likewise, if you're up against an enemy's late-game carry in lane, it may be more important to get them killed than for you to stay alive. So, you know, keep all those things in mind when you're determining your exact playstyle here. So, skipping forward a little bit, I'm about to hit level 6, and I want you to watch my damage down here when I hit level 6 and get marksmanship. Alright, we're at 69 plus 8. 109 plus 15. So the moment you hit level 6, that's when you really start to get a massive boost as Drow. I mean, that plus 20 agility initially is huge from a DPS standpoint, because not only are you getting a massive boost to your damage, your attack speed is going up tremendously. So, you know, we're going to take advantage of that pretty quickly. So I've managed to farm some treads and a magic wand at this point. You know, I'm 1, 0, and 1, which is good. I haven't died. Again, that was one of my biggest priorities. So here we are going for the Bane. We've got Leshrac coming in for a gank, and that Bane is dead. And we're going to preserve Lestrac's life as well, and scare off this Keeper of the Light. I didn't get the kill, but I certainly got a lot of gold out of it, which is very nice. Obviously, the experience bonus. At this point, I'm aggressively trying to push the tower, which is hard to do against a Kotal. I probably should have known better. You know, at this point, you can auto-attack with the Drow and still get, like, ridiculous farm. And what a beautiful ult from the Ancient Apparition right there. So good. But I come in and get the kill because I really like that gold. Ancient Apparition is playing support and knows that he's playing support, so he doesn't mind me doing something like that. It really just benefits the team at the end there. Now, of course, diving against Drow is not the best idea. So jumping forward a bit, I decided to go for a Yasha first. I like going for a Yasha as opposed to, say, a Shadow Blade. I decided to go Yasha first because I really like the utility you get from the added move speed, and it just, again, increases your farmability that much more. You know, I like to get a Shadow Blade a little later when I know I can really focus on ganking. At this point, I think I'm about to get... Yeah, I was really surprised by this Nyx's play. I mean, he basically just gave me a free kill. I kind of didn't have to do anything there, but I'll take it. Because I'm solo in the lane and I killed him by myself, it's a massive experience boost. I also get the gold. I honestly had just come here to farm now that I had my Yasha. You know, my team is kind of doing work up top, but because there had been so much going on up there, I decided it might be a good idea to leave and go get some money on my own. So in this case, I'm going to push this tower. Unfortunately, I did not get the last hit on the tower, which was my bad. I got a little carried away with my super fast auto-attacking at this point. Again, the Yasha, my level 2 ult, 30 agility. You know, my agility is 45 plus 87, and we are 15 minutes into the game. That's just absurd. Absolutely absurd. So now I'm going to do a little bit of jungle farming. At least I think I am. Yeah. The way to jungle farm with the Drow, in this case, I'm not doing a very good job of it right there, just because my, right now my agility is so damn high that I'm just taking it for granted, but one of the best things you can do is attack the large creep once with the frost arrow, maybe I'll do it here, and then turn autocast off. Not doing it. Well, I did it after a little while. So you saw that large creep was dead before it got to me. And that's what you want to do. You want to just chill the large creep, kill it with your massive DPS before it can do any damage to you, and then do what you want with the smaller creeps. Obviously, when you run into these guys, they're immune to magic, so I'm just going to kill them. Basically get both of them taking pretty much minimal damage. And now I'm going to be going for my Shadow Blade, because I know I've got a massive level lead, experience lead, and a gold lead on most of the rest of their team. Once I get that Shadow Blade, I can become a ganking machine and just run all over the map and do lots of damage. So a little later on, I'm still working on my Shadow Blade, and I noticed that their Spectre is down here farming. Now, Spectre, of course, is one of the most devastating late-game heroes in the game. Can do so many different things, can be all over the map at once, so I don't want to let this Spectre farm. So I'm going to come in and just gank the living crap out of this Spectre. Now, after I start doing damage, I silence very, very quickly to prevent him from ulting out. And because my agility is so high and my DPS is so high, I just get the kill really, really easily, and there is absolutely nothing he can do about it for the duration of that silence. So I've nearly farmed my Shadow Blade at this point. I'm just looking for that last little bit of gold, but I see a really great opportunity here to take care of Huskar. We've got good numbers near the river. I'm not too afraid to do this. I jump in and silence. Great synergy with me and the Spirit Breaker. The Spirit Breaker charges perfectly, and we just take care of Huskar, and again, he's unable to do anything. I see an illusion rune, I go for it. But I notice my team's in trouble. Sadly, I do not grab my illusions quite fast enough, but go in here. Look at you not able to do anything again, Spectre. Take care of business there. Take a little more damage than I would have liked to there, but fortunately I get earned. Now I grab the illusions. But there were 2 quick kills that occurred in a very short period, thanks to me synergizing well with members of my team. So after several successful ganks, I've managed to get myself killed, which is a bit unfortunate. You know, as a result, our team is a little underhanded because we're moving into kind of the later stages of the mid-game, and I'm really supposed to be playing a strong role at this point. So they managed to take down our Tier 1 mid-tower, which is not good. Nyx manages to get out there, and they're all dwelling in our mid. I expect them all to back off because Nyx is gone, so I go up to resume farming, but lo and behold, they aren't gone. They're all just sitting there still. At this point, it's important to note that I farmed a Manta-style next, and you're about to see why. So they are all delightfully clustered for me. Ancient Apparition nails a perfect ult, silence everybody except for the Kodal. I come out of Cloak, I pop my Manta-style, a bunch of silenced enemy heroes are now looking at 3 massive Drows, and I just take out pretty much all of them. And Kodal gets away, and it's just because he took off running. But the surprise factor of Shadow Blade into silence, into Manta style, can wreck almost an entire team if they're not careful. Alright, what we're about to see now is a good example of Drow as a cleanup crew. So I'm farming their Ancients, trying to take away the possibility of Spectre getting any farm, when suddenly a bunch of people on my team who are going for the rune get ambushed in the river. That's bad news, especially because I'm not there. So I'm going to hoof it to try to get over there. You know, they managed to take out Nyx and Spectre, which is great, but we've lost Leshrac and Enigma at this point, and we are about to lose our Spirit Breaker. Fortunately, I come in to mop up. So that's 1 down, 2 down. Desperately trying to TP out as the Keeper of the Light. 3 down. So even if you're not there at the inception of a fight, if you're playing a late game carry like the Drow, try to get there, because there will be an opportunity after their team has blown all of their skills for you to go in and to turn what could have been, you know, a 3-for-2 trade into what ended up being a 5-for-4 trade, and fed you even more. It's just great to have your carry be the one that survives if your whole team is going to die, and their whole team is going to die. So one of the more common mistakes that a team makes is roshing at the wrong time, particularly when there's a ward that can see them. So their team is behind. I understand their desire to rosh, but because we know about it, our team is going to head in and try to ambush. Now, they are smart enough to know that this is coming, so they come out and they ambush our first heroes who get there. which is bad news for us. Enigma goes down without being able to black hole. Leshrac is nearly dead. Spirit Breaker has to run. I run in though, and I manage to get off a very, very good silence. That's one hero down. Very smart move to sleep yourself, but you get stunned out of it. So that's 3 down. Nyx is just running around like a chicken without a head. Not sure what he can do about this situation. He's just trying desperately to get away. And he's gonna die to creeps. And so 4 of their heroes died for 1 of ours. Thanks again to Drow mopping in, getting a really, really good silence at the very beginning, having them focus on someone else for a little while, and then you just sort of appear, and suddenly it's just an instant death. And then we get to go in and rush. Can't complain too much about how that goes. Build-wise at this point, now that I've got my Manta, I'm going to go for a crit, because my attack speed is so high that my procs for the crit are going to be very, very, very frequent. So going for a Daedalus will increase your damage output tremendously, and makes your ambush that much more devastating. So one of the other great things that you can do as a late game carry like the Drow is try to take advantage of split pushing. We've managed to break down their middle tower, but unfortunately they've been very, very feisty about preventing us from getting rid of their racks. So we've attempted 2 times at this point to kind of team fight at their racks, and both times they've managed to repel us. So my team is doing work in the middle, trying to threaten. Psychologically, their team is going to be focused on middle. It's where they know they're most weak. It's where they don't have a tower. So they're really keeping an eye out on what's going on there, looking at our teammates there. So in the meantime, I'm just rapidly going to push in bot. So they're out there trying to get kills. They know I'm not there, perhaps, so they think they've got a chance of doing it. But their bottom is just completely undefended, and I'm going to run in. I'm going to bring their tower down very, very quickly, bring the racks down very, very quickly. Getting rid of this wave just to give my creeps a little bit more time. And then immediately get out after the racks are done. I'm not going to stick around and try to fight, even though I know I'm much more powerful than most of their team. I'm just gonna, I've done the damage that I'm there to do. The only thing that can happen really is maybe I'll get a few vanity kills, but I'll probably end up dying if I try to take on their entire team at once. Even given that I'm level 25 with a Daedalus, an Eagle Song, a Manta Style, a Shadow Blade, a Magic Wand, and some treads. I've got 3,500 gold. Might as well go back and just, you know, take advantage of the spoils. So at this point the game is pretty much over. I mean, we've got 2 racks down, we managed to break through mid, but I still want to show something that you need to watch out for when you've got your Drow to this point. I mean, I've pretty much maxed her out. I mean, I'll probably get rid of the magic stick at some point, but you know, Butterfly, Daedalus, Manta Style, Shadow Blade, you can't ask for much better than this. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go for an ambush on Bane and Kotal. Kotal dead almost immediately. Bane manages to disable me. I'm mashing Manta Style at this point. I Manta out, but Bane, or no, not Bane, the Spectre has Blade Mail. I died real fast there. Spectre has an ability that returns damage inherently in an AoE around him, her. And if you couple that with Blade Mail, it basically means you'll kill yourself immediately by attacking her. So let's go back and just see that again, and maybe I'll turn the speed down, because it happened very, very quickly. Alright, so here I go in for my ambush. Kotal is going to die before they can even react to it, because my Daedalus damage is so ridiculous. So I'm asleep now. I figure, oh, okay, I can just wipe them now, you know.
There are some things you weren't meant to see.
But there is the Spectre. I start attacking the Spectre, and there's where Blade Mail goes. And watch my health. Oh, Nyx hits me as well. Okay, so I get hit by Nyx too, but the damage return coupled with their ambush does some damage to me, to say the very least. Nyx can burst pretty hard. So even as a Drow, late game when you're that farmed, you're that far ahead of everybody, you still have to be a little careful. Fortunately, Leshrac is here to clean them up, and at this point, the game is pretty much finished. Alright, so their throne is dead. And let's take a look at some scores here. So Leshrac and I both ended up at level 25. I ended up 28, 7, and 11, which is obviously a very good KDA. Again, KDA though, not everything. Gold per minute was over 600. That is super important if you are a farming carry like the Drow. XP per minute, 703. The only person who was higher than me was Leshrac. That's really, really good as well because the faster you hit level 25, in particular the faster you get your ult maxed out, the more ridiculous you're going to be. You just want to be ahead of the other team in every conceivable way, particularly when you get something like a Shadow Blade that allows you to jump them, because you'll continue to get more ahead that way, while they'll continue to stay lower. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll be doing more like it in the future. Laters.